I started like streaming production and announcer business, like a little media startup 8 years ago. Yeah, I'm announcing for the Wizards now, for Army football, Yankee Stadium soccer. It's more,
Football's cool.
It's like less game notes and record keeping, record books, and more events, which is that's was always my
Good for
favorite
you,
thing.
man. Good for you.
It's good, and plus like flexibility because we got two little kids.
Hey, AZ. Good, buddy.
We get two little kids, so it's much more flexible than being on the road. It's enough travel. But, We're joined now by head coach Jay Wright from Villanova. Coach, you want to give us a couple thoughts this morning, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Sure. We had another good practice today. I feel like we're in a good place. With replacing Justin, I think just watching more and more of Kansas, I'm just so impressed with their team speed, their intelligence defensively, and their execution in dead ball situation. Just Bill's a Hall of Fame coach, so it's not a surprise, but it's just still cool to watch their execution and intelligence. And I think we're going to have to play extremely intelligent, tough against them, and I think we're ready to do it.
We'll start taking questions for Coach Wright. Front right side of the room, Zach.
Ziller, New York Post. Jay, do you have to do anything with these guys to make them believe they can win this weekend? You're probably the underdog of the 4 teams without Justin. Is there anything you've had to do this week to build up their confidence?
No, really, I don't. It's an interesting question because I called, I believe on Monday, I was just putting together myself, watching film and putting together what adjustments we would make without Justin, who would be in out-of-bounds situations, press offense situations, and I was thinking to myself, do I need to talk to them about this? So I just called Colin Gillespie and I just said, Kyle, do I need to talk to these guys about being ready, us really believing we can do this without Justin? He's like, no way. Everybody's good. Don't worry about it. So I really never had to approach it because we talk about that all year when anybody's out. Colin was basically out. We played at St. John's. He didn't practice. So I think they believe in each other.
Midway down the aisle, Coach, on the right side. Yes, sir, you. With the microphone,
Quinn,
sir.
Brendan
Yes.
Quinn from The Athletic. No one's called me sir, I'm sorry. Brendan Quinn from The Athletic. Jay, when you got the job 2001, how difficult was it having, because of 85, how difficult was it having national championship expectations at a program that frankly was very far from being a national championship contender?
Interesting. I've always felt what's unique about Villanova, excuse me, I've always felt what's been unique about Villanova is you have the passionate fans of a national championship program, but you have, I look at it like being in a pro town and being in the Northeast. They're reasonable people. They have other interests, and so they won a national championship. And I always think you guys have heard me say, I think this is the best coaching job in the country. And that's another one of the reasons. Like they want to win national championships, and I knew it. But they look at your team and they say, okay, you're new, you're building a new team. We're going to give you time. We're going to support you. And they still sell out every home game. And we weren't great in the beginning. I look at Dana sitting in front of you. We had the famous breakfast where she said, I got it right, you're going to get fired, if you don't win this year. But it's really unique about Villanova. I never felt that pressure. I never really felt that pressure, and still don't.
Up front to the right.
Mike Sealski from the Philadelphia Inquirer. I know you're not thinking about this now because you still have a game, but at what point, when you've had these seniors who have been with you for a long time, whether it's guys like Colin or Jermaine or Arch or whoever it might be, at what point have you found that it sinks in that they're not going to be there anymore, these guys who have been part of you for as long as they have?
Mike, definitely you do not think about it at all because it's almost like you don't want to. But when that last game hits, it hits you like a ton of the bricks. And that's what makes you emotional. When you lose the last game, that's what makes you it's not losing the game. Because usually whenever you lose, especially if you get this far, everybody's given all they've got. You're not disappointed, but it hits you like this is it for my coaching relationship with Colin Gillespie on the floor, with Jermaine Samuels on the floor, with Demir Cosby-Rountree. This is it. That's what makes you really emotional. And I do not look forward to that, but I know it's going to come. The great thing is if you win, you don't really deal with that. It hits you like gradually some weeks later, but in your career, most times you end with a loss.
Coach, we're going to stay in the same area and go to Zagoria. Adam.
Coach Adam Zagoria, how are you today?
Good, buddy.
In terms of integrating Bryan Antoine into the offense, have you learned anything new here in the last couple of days since you spoke to us Monday about his role? And I guess what are some kind of realistic expectations about what Bryan could give you here in these games?
I haven't learned anything new. I mean, Bryan is, we've said this so many times, but he just had the most unique path ever of any player we've ever had with injuries and everything. And what he brings us is great speed defensively, which against Kansas is important. He gives us perimeter shooting and a high-level basketball IQ offensively. That's what he brings us. And as he gets to practice and play, it's going to start showing. This is a great opportunity for him. It's really, I keep saying about this Kansas team speed, and we've done this through the tournament. One of the things that we've learned over the years is when you're playing teams out of your conference like this, you got to get on the floor with them. I think I mentioned about the Houston game. You got to get on the floor with them, and probably other coaches do this better than us. They can figure it out before the game, but there's certain things for us. We got to get on the floor, see what's working. Do we need Arch's ball handling more? Do we need Bryan's speed defense more? Where does it fit? Do guys get in foul trouble? But he's ready.
As we're taking this next question, we're going to welcome in Jermaine Samuels, Colin Gillespie, and Caleb Daniels as well. We're going to go to the middle of the room. Elaine, right?
Yes, Lane Higgins, The Wall Street Journal. So I've got kind of an off-the-wall question for you, but obviously the dress code has been casual these last 2 years, and you have a bit of a reputation before that. And, it's the first Final Four you've been to, and you maybe don't have to wear a suit, but did you pack one in case? And, are you thinking about wearing one?
I actually had to call our sports information director as I was packing to ask, do I need a suit? Like, are there any events I need to go to? And he said, I don't think so. And so, no, I don't think I'm going to wear a suit because I don't have one. But it was nice. It's easy packing. The hardest thing for me is we all dress the same, so we have the same shirt, the same. And they send me pictures of what to wear, and I can't tell the colors. I'm always nervous I match up the right gear. That's been difficult. Like when you wear a suit, I just pick whatever I want to pick. So that's been challenging for me this year. The head coach is not as good at using the phone and see what I'm supposed to wear. The choosing of it for me, because the three-piece, putting on the suit, I can pick it right there, and I know what I'm supposed to wear, and no one cares what I wear. But if I don't match my guys, because we have so much stuff, we don't, and it looks like he screwed it up. So I'm more nervous about that than I ever was about what suit I wore.
We'll take questions for Coach Wright or Jermaine, Colin, or Caleb at this time. We're going to stay in that same center area of the room. Your name and media outlet, please.
Megan Morhart with the Villanovan. Coach, you guys preach culture all the time, and it seems like attitude is the center of that. What does that word mean to you?
It's something that we want our guys to learn about for life, and we want to learn about on the basketball court. The basic concept is in life we don't have control of what happens to us, but we have control of how we respond to whatever happens to us, and we have a choice each day. When whatever's going on, what is our attitude going to be? So on the basketball court, we try to do the same thing. Like sometimes we're trying to do the right thing and we turn the ball over, or we're trying to do the right thing and we do the right thing, and the referee makes a bad call. We don't control that, but we do control what's our attitude on the next play, what's our mindset on the next play. So when these guys are young, they're really interested in basketball. So we talk to them, we practice that on the basketball court. We practice it. And then we start talking to them like, this is important in life too. We really want you to take this in life more than we do on the basketball court. And they're great about that, and we hope it helps them in life.
Questions for Coach Wright or the Villanova players on the left side of the room?
Colin Beasley, the Villanovan. Jay, going into this final weekend with Colin, Jermaine, and Daw, have you given them any advice to soak it in, or how are you approaching that?
We approach that like we are blessed to be able to continue to play, and this is our next game. And our next game and us being together and being able to play basketball is more important than any outside event, Final Four, semifinal. It's all big time stuff, but that's how important our next game is to us. And to keep that focus and that concentration, that's been our advice. But I don't really have to say it because these guys, especially these guys, have been here. They lived it. They know what it is. And that's how we approach it.
Questions for Coach Wright or the Villanova student athletes? Mike.
I want to make sure I say we're not minimizing the Final Four. It's just that that's how important playing a game is to us in our next game. The Final Four is really important. But playing against Kansas and having a game against Kansas is more important to us.
Next question is for Mike Jensen.
Mike Jensen, Philadelphia Inquirer. Jay, you've taken a lot of NIL questions. I'll ask one this way. You're one of the better paid coaches in the sport. You've got endorsement deals. Is it easier to morally justify all that to yourself when you know that these guys can get some things?
Definitely. I think there's a lot of great things about NIL, and I think it's going to be, I really believe it's going to be good for college basketball moving forward. I think it's going to be good for NBA basketball. I think there are guys that I really believe that would like to stay in college, but it's just not a good business decision. It's not intelligent to do it if they can only make money in pro basketball. But there are guys that want to stay in college that can make money, and they don't have to go to the NBA at a young age when they're not ready. And I think the NBA is going to benefit eventually, and they're going to figure out there's some guys that are staying in college, they're making good money, and then we're going to get them when they're ready instead of taking a guy that just has to go. So I think it's going to be good. And to answer your question, it's definitely something that has weighed on me. I know a lot of coaches that we make money and these kids are struggling, and they're a big part of it, and they have the opportunities. It's not even like they ask for it. It's just they have opportunities and they can't take them. And to be able to see them pick and choose from those opportunities and know that they have that available to them, and they're making money and they're not struggling, and they're sharing in all of this is really heartwarming for me as a coach, and I know a lot of coaches.
Continuing with questions for Coach Wright or the student athletes, we're going to go all the way up front and all the way to the right. Gentleman from the Lawrence Journal-World.
Yeah, Zach Boyer from the Lawrence Journal-World. Jay, you've one transfer in Caleb. You don't have very many one-and-dones in the past 20 years since you've been here. What is something that you've realized to be the value of having an experienced team over the years?
It's just finding the right people and knowing that you have people that want to be a part of your community, want to be a part of their team, and that want to be the best student, the best man, and the best person they can be, the best student, the best player, and the best person they can be. That's why they're there, and they really believe that if I'm a part of this, and my goal is to be the best player, student, and person I can be, that gives me my best chance to be an NBA player. You know, it's never a guarantee you're going to be an NBA player, you know, unless you're Zion Williams or something like that. But 99% of the guys, you have to have a path. So they choose that their path is being a part of a community, being a part of something bigger than themselves, and they believe in it. And they believe that that's really going to help them be the best player they can be. So if you know, to get someone that's going to be there for 6-7 months, sometimes they believe it, and we've had a couple of those guys, and they did a great job. And you can see that they return to remain a part of the community, you know. And then Caleb, we didn't recruit Caleb out of high school, so he didn't have the chance, but he played for Mike Dunleavy, who told me, like, this kid, I know your culture, I know what this kid, he came to Tulane for the same reasons. He would come to Villanova for the same reason, and he's fit in, you know, like a kid that started there from day one because he believes in that.
On the right side, Dana. Looks like the front right microphone.
Dana O'Neill at The Athletic. Jay, going way backwards, you were talking about like the emotions of saying goodbye eventually to these guys. I'm just trying to ask if you could put yourself maybe in Mike Krzyzewski's shoes, knowing that your career is coming down to the end. I mean, I know you're nowhere near that, but I'm just wondering if you can try to imagine what that would feel like.
I think, it's got to be mind-blowing. It's got to be mind-blowing. I would be lying if I tell you I don't, you think about it after each year. You think about, where your life is, what are you going to do? And it's really difficult to think about. I honestly, and if you're him, and you've done it for that long, and you've been that successful, and it's so much a part of your life, and you think about the longer you do it, the more relationships you have, and those relationships are really meaningful to you. So you're not their coach anymore. That's probably something that's got to be really difficult to deal with. And I think about it because there's going to have to be a time when it's time for the next coach at Villanova. There's going to have to be that time. You got to pick the right time. I think Mike did it extremely intelligently, and it's got to be really difficult.
Final question is going to come from the center of the room.
Hey, how you doing? Darian Carter, United States Basketball Writers Association. My question is for Caleb. What song or movie would you use to describe you guys' Final Four run, and why?
I would have to say possibly Glory Road. I ain't gonna lie, that's my favorite movie, so I had to pick that. But and I feel like in the beginning of the movie, they were very separated as a team. We were never separated by any means, but we weren't as close as we are now. And throughout the movie, they became closer and closer, each one of the players with the coaches as well. And I just feel like now it's like we're all close, like we're brothers, literally. We're not we are brothers. So I feel like that would be a movie that's similar to us, Villanova basketball.
Jermaine, do you think Glory Road?
I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I haven't seen Glory Road in a while. I can remember bits and pieces, so you might need to ask Colin that question.
Colin?
I've never seen Glory Road.
Did you have another movie in mind or another song?
Hoosiers, maybe?
Yeah, maybe Hoosiers. Yeah, I can't think of a song. The songs are too quick nowadays, so
I've never seen Hoosiers.
I can't think of a song right out there. I don't think I've seen Hoosiers either, but I know about it. I don't really watch movies, guys. I'm sorry.
We want to thank Jermaine, Colin, Caleb, and Coach Wright for joining us here in the main interview room.
Thank you, guys.
These guys are going to head out to the court for their open practice in just a few minutes. Thank you. Good luck tomorrow, guys.